April 20th, 1944. Just after dawn. A Luftwaffe airfield in western Germany. The concrete is wet from the night's rain. Fuel fumes hang low, sharp in the throat. A lone figure moves along the edge of the dispersal area, boots slipping slightly, heart rate pinned. He wears a German flight jacket that does not fit his shoulders. The pistol in his pocket is an unfamiliar weight. Every step is a calculation. 50 meters ahead sits a single-engine fighter. Canopy closed. Chocks still in place. No guard in sight. That absence is worse than a sentry. He is an American pilot. His own aircraft is already gone burned into a French hillside days earlier. His parachute never made it back across the lines. Neither should he. A truck coughs somewhere beyond the hangars. Metal tools clatter. A voice carries, casual, unafraid. This place believes in its paperwork. It believes in uniforms. It believes no enemy could walk this far, this cleanly into the center of its own routine. The pilot reaches the wing route. Paint is cold under his palm. He knows the outline, but not the temperament. German fighters are built differently. Controls reverse expectations. The cockpit is cramped, foreign. Labels in a language he reads slowly, if at all. He hauls himself up. Slides into the seat. The smell changes. Oil, leather, ozone. He closes the canopy with a sound too loud for comfort. From this distance, the barracks windows can see everything. If anyone looks up now, the story ends here. He primes the engine by memory and inference. Hands moving without rehearsal. He is guessing, but the guesses are disciplined. There is no margin for correction. No second attempt. The starter engages. The engine coughs once, then catches. The propeller blurs. Noise floods the field. Heads will turn. This is the moment the mathematics collapses. One unarmed man inside an enemy aircraft, surrounded by thousands of soldiers, with minutes, seconds before reality asserts itself. Nobody present should survive this moment. His name is Robert Kincaid Hoover. He is not from a military family. He was born in 1922 in Nashville, Tennessee, and raised during the long economic drag of the Depression. His father works when work exists. His mother stretches meals. The house is small. The expectations are small. The expectations are smaller. Aviation enters his life not as destiny, but as utility. He learns to fly before he can vote, because flight schools need students, and he needs direction. He is competent early. That is all. Not brilliant, not reckless, just steady. When war comes, the Army Air Forces expands faster than its myths. They need pilots who can follow procedures under stress. Hoover qualifies. He earns his wings without drama and transitions to the P-51 Mustang because the war demands range more than romance. The Mustang is fast, long-legged, unforgiving. It is not a forgiving teacher. It rewards anticipation and punishes impatience. Hoover adapts. He escorts bombers across occupied Europe. He learns how flak sounds when it is close enough to matter. He learns the difference between being shot at and being aimed at. In February 1944, his luck runs out. Over France, his aircraft is hit. Coolant bleeds away. The engine seizes. He bails out low and hard and lands in enemy territory. Civilians see him. Soldiers arrive quickly. He is captured without a fight. Prisoner of war camps strip men down to routine. Hoover refuses the erosion. He studies guards, schedules, habits. He memorizes insignia. He learns enough German to understand tone if not content. He escapes once and is caught, escapes again and is beaten. Each attempt teaches him something about distance, about how far a man can walk hungry before his thinking collapses. By early 1945, the Reich was cracking. Camps move. Guards think. Paperwork lags behind reality. Hoover slips away again, this time into the churn of a collapsing state. He moves at night. He trades cigarettes for food. He dresses in scavenged uniforms that pass at a glance. He does not plan to steal an aircraft. That possibility appears only after weeks of evasion, when he realizes something dangerous and precise. German airfields are still operating, but barely. Fuel is scarce. Pilots are younger. Security assumes the perimeter is intact because the maps say it should be. Hoover understands airfields. He understands that mechanics trust silhouettes. He understands that a man who walks as he belongs is often left alone. He also understands that if he is wrong, he will be shot without ceremony. There is nothing in his background that predicts what he is about to attempt. No aristocratic daring, no ideological fury, just a trained pilot with a working knowledge of systems, moving through a bureaucracy that no longer has the strength to question itself. That ordinariness is the key. It is also why, hours from now, the Germans will struggle to explain what happened, without first asking how it was even possible. Hoover's competence is built in quiet margins. Before the war, flight training was mechanical and repetitive. Patterns, emergency drills, engine-out procedures are practiced until they are reflexive. The Army Air Forces teaches pilots to think in checklists because panic improvises badly. Hoover absorbs that ethic. He is not flashy in the air. He flies by margins. In combat, those margins shrink. Escort duty teaches him fuel math. A P-51 cruising at altitude burns less than one pushed hard at low level. You learn to feel the range in your spine. You learn how long you can chase before the return becomes impossible. Those calculations stay with him after capture. They become portable. Escape training is informal. Prisoners trade methods the way pilots trade routes. Which fences are wired? Which guards drink? Which train lines move freight at night? Hoover learns to travel light and to stop before exhaustion makes decisions for him. He learns to live bored. Fear attracts attention. The technical detail that matters most comes from familiarity with enemy aircraft. Allied pilots are briefed on German fighters because survival depends on recognition. The Focke-Wulf 190 has a wide, blunt nose, radial engine, strong acceleration. The Messerschmitt 109-9 is narrower, twitchier, with a nose-mounted cannon that affects handling. Hoover knows this from silhouettes and intelligence summaries. He has never flown one, but he knows where to look. German aircraft start differently. Electrical systems are less standardized. Some engines require manual priming. Fuel selectors are labeled in German. Throttle response is aggressive. Torque on takeoff is severe. If mishandled, the aircraft will ground loop and announce failure to everyone watching. He understands that the first 30 seconds decide everything. After that, the airfield reacts. As he moves through occupied territory, Hoover watches airfields from tree lines. He notes guard patterns. He sees how often sentries assume pilots are authorized by default. He sees mechanics more concerned with shortages than sabotage. Late war Germany runs on habit and fatigue. The war's escalation is visible in small things: fewer experienced pilots, more rush training flights. Aircraft are parked closer together because dispersal requires manpower they no longer have. These are vulnerabilities disguised as efficiency. Hoover does not romanticize them. He measures them. By the time he reaches the airfield, he has already rejected 2 others. Too many guards, too many SWs, too much activity. This one is quiet enough to be dangerous, quiet enough to pretend nothing is wrong. He waits for the moment between routines, not during a shift change, not at full daylight. Dawn, when men are awake but not alert. The decision to attempt the theft is not sudden. It is the end of a long filtration process where every alternative leads back to a camp or a ditch. Walking west is weeks of exposure. Hiding is temporary. Stealing transport compresses risk into minutes. He chooses minutes. The engine cough he hears when he turns the starter is not just mechanical. It is the sound of all that preparation either collapsing or holding. He cannot know which yet. By April 1945, Germany was a country in collapse. The front lines are fluid. Allied bombers scream overhead daily. Retreating units leave supplies, chaos, and panic behind. The Luftwaffe is desperate. Pilots are often teenagers, barely trained, thrust into cockpits because the situation demands it. Discipline exists only in protocol sheets, seldom enforced. Hoover knows this. He can see the pattern from a distance. He moves forward under the cover of fog, along hedgerows and broken fences, observing the field from every angle. He notes the placement of the single-occupancy hangars, the storage crates, and the scattered barrels. Every human figure he passes: the mechanic with the oil-stained hands, the young pilot stretching before his training sortie catalogue silently. Timing, attention span, routine. A distant thunder reminds him that Allied fighters are active above. Every plane in the sky is a potential danger, friend or foe. He feels the weight of weeks without rest. Sleep has been stolen by fear and hunger. His muscles ache from carrying scavenged uniforms, stolen rations, and the constant vigilance that is the new normal. Each step is a negotiation with exhaustion and instinct. Hoover has already faced this strain. He has endured beatings, forced marches, starvation, and the crushing isolation of imprisonment. Each moment has honed decision-making under stress. The risk calculus in his mind is precise. Every option is a thread in the larger fabric, every misstep fatal. He pauses, eyes on the target. The fighter is ready, engines cold but fueled, chocks remove. He notices the minor details: a slight tilt of the canopy latch, a mechanic's casual hand resting on the wing root, the angle of the sun across the fuselage that could betray him if he moves incorrectly. This is not bravado. This is accumulation. Every near miss, every narrow escape, every study of German airfields and machinery feeds into the next action. War has trained him to perceive not only danger, but the intervals between danger. The quiet, the hesitation, the routine lapses that can be exploited. The psychological weight presses, yet the clarity remains. He will take the aircraft or he will be caught. There is no half measure, no retreat. The decision is absolute. And in this narrow, waking corridor between survival and exposure, the impossible moment, the one that began this story, approaches again. Seconds would decide whether months of planning, observation, and quiet training coalesce into a singular act or vanish into a corpse-strewn field. He slides into the cockpit. The canopy squeaks under his hands, metal biting leather. The interior smells of oil, fuel, and German leather polish. Instruments are labeled in a language he reads only in fragments. But the layout is familiar enough. Throttle, mixture, propeller pitch. He moves deliberately, calibrating his instincts against mechanical reality. Every lever is a test of memory and deduction. He primes the engine. Magnetos click. Starter engages. The radial coughs, then settles into a low, threatening rumble. Torque twists the fuselage as he releases the brakes. The wheels bite the wet concrete. One wrong input and he spins, a violent arc that would announce him instantly. A sentry glances toward the hangar edge. Hoover freezes, hands poised. The man frowns, mutters, and turns back. Timing is everything. The second measured, human is as critical as the machinery under his palms. Throttle forward. The engine responds with a shuddering roar. Dust and gravel skitter beneath the propeller. He fights the torque with subtle, countering inputs. The tail lifts. The nose wheel leaves the concrete. A sweep of air ruffles uniformed bodies too far to react quickly. Hoover scans the field in seconds. Hangars, fuel barrels, scattered crates, all pass like markers in his peripheral vision. He climbs, steep enough to clear the perimeter fence, but shallow enough to avoid attracting immediate attention from nearby gunners. The radial engine vibrates beneath him, a living thing that demands respect. German anti-aircraft crews fumble with rangefinders. Pilots on the tarmac scramble, confused by the silhouette of one of their own taking flight. Communications break down under disbelief. Every motion he makes is precise. Controls, throttle, rudder, pitch, each correction earned by training, observation, and relentless calculation. Within minutes, he has cleared the field. He aligns west toward Allied lines, eyes scanning landmarks he memorized from flight maps and reconnaissance photos. The impossible has been executed, not by luck, but by patience, skill, and an intimate understanding of human and mechanical error. Behind him, the airfield erupts into confusion. The Germans will never catch him. Not now, not ever. He disappears over the horizon.